Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. Casey Durango here of Go Keto with Casey, where I like to talk about how I've lost 97.4 pounds since starting the Ketogenic Protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life like I did. Grandmother clock is chiming. It must be time to talk about keto. I hope you're all well, and I know there's a lot of stuff going on everywhere, so I hope you're well. Today's topic is, as the title implies, about struggling. And if you're new to keto, the ketogenic protocol, or you're an old pro, this is not every day is you should pardon the expression, a piece of cake. For those of you who don't know, the ketogenic protocol is one whereby you reduce your carbohydrate intake to a point where your liver stops pushing out glucose for fuel, sugar, and then our body happily turns over to burning ketone bodies or fat for fuel. That's what it is. For most people, what will work, pretty much guaranteed, is to keep those carbs 20 grams or fewer a day, total carbs, not net. Eat fatty sources of protein. Don't eat if you're not hungry, and stop when you're satiated. By far, those last two parts are the hardest. But, and it works beautifully. You can go to my blog. I don't think I put the links below. I will try to do that after this is over. I forgot. But you can go CaseyDurango.com. You can see my before photos. They weren't even my heaviest weight. They are just photos that other people sent to me after I'd lost weight because they knew never to let me see them before. It works beautifully. But it's not hocus pocus. It's not a magic wand. The food is the easy part. At first we want to get all consumed, no pun intended, with the food. What can I eat? What can I not eat? What can I eat? Well, you can eat everything, just lay off the carbs. It's not special food, it's just laying off the carbs. The food is pretty rudimentary. It's fatty sources of protein. If you really want a food list, Dr. Eric Westman's copyrighted page 4, there will be a link below. But you don't even need a food list. It's just eat fatty sources of protein, which just means eat poultry, meat, pork, beef, lamb, whatever, with the fat that comes with it. Don't get the leanest cuts, get the fattiest cuts. Poultry with the skin, oily fish. About a cup a day maximum of non-starchy vegetables before they're cooked, and about 2 cups a day maximum of leafy greens. That's it. Full fat dairy if you can tolerate it, not unlimited. And then your appetite is suppressed and it's great. The thing is, if all we had to do was that, lay off the carbs and don't eat if you're not hungry, there would be no need for 55 billion YouTube channels and Facebook groups. I have a private Patreon group. It wouldn't need to exist if all it was about the food. Ultimately, obviously, what we put in our bodies is important. The reason we put things in our bodies is problematic. That's where the struggle comes. Those of us who have had weight issues most of our lives are very well versed in being told, just move more, eat less. Well, if it was that easy, don't you think I would just do it? It's not that easy. And it's still not that easy when you're on the ketogenic protocol. It works beautifully. There's no, you don't have to wonder, well, is it legit? It is legit. And it will work if you follow it. So where does the struggle come in? Struggle comes in when you're in the middle of an historic pandemic. and you've been shuttered in with your children for 9 months or 6 months or whatever we are in this. The struggle when you have a problematic marriage. The struggle is when your boss is a jerk, when your kids are jerks, when you have trouble making your bills. The struggle comes when you've done everything at the end of the day and you've always eaten in front of the television at night and you've done it for decades and it's difficult to stop. We were just talking about this the other day in a patron-only live stream. Nighttime eating is a struggle for many people. It's not that you're hungry. It's that we have become habituated to certain things. Not only have we grown our own habit of eating, and then you fill in the blank about when and why you eat, but that message is reinforced for us by people who want us to buy more food because that's their job, is to sell us food. The advertising people are supposed to get more and more people to eat all these products. That's their job. So we have the habit, and then the habit is reinforced, and then it is, it's like the world will turn a blind eye to our poor eating habits. Wink, wink. Go ahead. You deserve a break today. So get up and get away to McDonald's. Wink, wink. It's okay. We won't tell anybody that you went to McDonald's and got a, quarter pounded with cheese, a double quarter pounded with cheese and French fries and a milkshake. We won't tell anyone because we want you to go there and eat that. So we have to fight within ourselves, then we have to fight without ourselves, and then sometimes you've got all that under control, and then the holidays come, and people want to push food on us. And some are relentless. I think I shared the story last week of someone whose sister said 7 times, she counted 7 times over the Thanksgiving meal, have just one bite. Have just one bite. 7 times. This person stood firm or sat firm. But this is a struggle. Sometimes we struggle. It's self-imposed struggle. We tell ourselves we can't do something, or we tell ourselves that we've never succeeded. And so, of course, that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. By the way, can you guys see and hear me? I meant to ask. Sorry. Okay. I'm assuming so. No one is saying they can't hear me. Oh, and by the way, housekeeping. If we lose connection, that's just YouTube. I have no control over that. I have excellent equipment and fiber, 1 gigabyte of fiber network. But anyway, and what am I drinking? Hashtag Casey's Pink Drink. Many of you know what it is. Tall glass, lots of ice, diet tonic water, a splash of diet cranberry, and a squeeze of lime. I'm asked about it every time I drink it, and I only drink it when I do YouTube live streams on Saturdays. Okay. So how do you cope with the struggle? It's easy. We can all, raise our hands if we struggle. I struggle. I'm struggling right now. You know why I identified what it is. I'm not struggling, but I have, thoughts that come into my head. I was out and about yesterday running. I try to get all my chores done in one day and not be out much and be very conscientious about being in public. And I was at the post office mailing calendars, by the way. Calendars. When they're gone, they're gone. Go Keto with Casey 2021 calendar. You see me and my dog, Jack. And there's a Five Guys right across the way. And I hadn't eaten anything at that point in the day. I thought, I could just on my app, I'm right here. I could on my app order a bowl, burger in a bowl, because they'll do it without the buns and everything, and no fries, of course. And just, it'll be ready in 4 minutes. I can walk across there. But I thought, why would I do that? And I realized because I'm a little bit lonely. My husband's been out of the country for 3 weeks, coming home tomorrow. And I'm just lonely enough that my defenses are a little down. It doesn't make any sense eating a Five Guys burger with all the stuff, no bun and no fries, but just more calories than I need, would not stop me from being lonely. So I acknowledged the thought and said, no, I'm not going to fall for that again. But the struggles come. So what do we do? So for me, what I do is I try to pre-arm myself like I did with the lonely bit, because a couple of years ago, he was gone for even longer. And it was the only time I've ever done this. I had my phone and I had the Domino's app. And I figured I would just order a pizza, but only eat the toppings. Right? Oh dear. And so I was really ready. And I recognized I didn't order the pizza. And I would have eaten only the toppings, I hope. But I realized it was because I was lonely. So now I warn myself, as separation goes, I'm going to get lonely. I have to watch out. For some people, it's the nighttime eating is the struggle. You just always done it. So what do? You have to kind of start telling yourself earlier in the day, I'm not going to eat tonight. If I'm hungry, I'll eat. But if I'm not hungry, I can actually watch television and enjoy the show without eating. You have to pre-arm yourself. We have to do this, and we've talked about it before holiday meals, right? If you're going to be in a gathering, if we can have gatherings, and you know that there are food pushers there, you have to protect yourself, but you have to do it in advance. But here's the other thing. Struggling is not failure. Yeah. My memory, when I was at Catholic school with the nuns back in the day when they were, and they were in the full whipples and habits and everything, being taught that having the sinful thought is as bad as committing the sin. And even at my young age, I thought, well, that's hardly fair. If it's the same as doing the sin, why not just go ahead and do it? And I might be misremembering that. But being tempted is not a failure. I'm tempted. If someone could bestow upon me the power to eat whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted it, and have no ill effects, boy, howdy, don't you think I would do it? But I can't. So I don't. If you are struggling, first of all, just recognize it. Just say, I'm having a tough day today. But just because I'm struggling doesn't mean I'm caving. I just yesterday took delivery of some new cards that I designed these cards and I send them out to patrons. And it reads, I can acknowledge temptation without indulging it. Go Keto with Casey. Think about that. I can acknowledge the temptation without indulging it. You can say, hello, thoughts of popcorn. Thank you for showing up, but you need to go on because I'm not going to eat any popcorn. Doesn't make me a weak person because I thought about popcorn. So we have to, make sure we don't ding ourselves just because we thought or wanted to or, had lascivious thoughts about chocolate. Impure thoughts, as the nuns would have said. But just because we have the thoughts doesn't mean we need to indulge it. Just because you have a craving, what is the opposite thing that you should do when you have a craving? The opposite thing is to feed it. Don't feed a craving. You know what I liken it to, feeding a stray cat. And I know of where I speak. Luna, the stray cat that we fed once 17 years ago, is on our side porch yet again, although these 17 years. Don't feed a craving. Don't indulge a temptation. Don't feel like you're a failure because you're tempted. It It's not a weakness to be tempted. It's a strength to resist the temptation. Think of it in that way. Think how strong you are. You're stronger than a cookie. T-shirts below. And mugs and stickers. Because we tell ourselves, oh, I'm powerless in the face of apple pie a la mode. Of course you're not powerless. You are stronger than apple pie a la mode. I am stronger than popcorn, and I don't eat peanuts. These are things I say out loud to myself. I don't eat peanuts. Now, of all the things, peanuts are not on page 4. They are not nuts. They are legumes. I might as well have pinto beans. But I really like peanuts. But they're not good for me. It's not that I struggle with it. I have learned to deal with it. And it's okay. And then I move, on my life. I don't spend my days wringing my hands thinking about the foods that I no longer eat. I do not perseverate about food at all. And it's one of the great victories of this protocol as far as I'm concerned. Another t-shirt no longer available, sold out 2 or 3 times. Food is not the boss of me. I don't know about you, but I spent a whole lot of time in brain cells thinking about food for way too long. So back to, how do you deal with struggles? How do you keep going? By keep going. If you need to employ gimmicks or tricks, if you need to keep your hands busy, if you need to write things down to get them out of your head, if you need to phone a friend, if you need to jump onto a Facebook group and saying, ay, tough day, a safe place. By the way, plug for patrons. It's a private support group, and I do 20 pre-recorded videos a month, every weekday for patrons, about 5 or 6 patron-only live streams on Crowdcast, 5 or 6 patron-only video group sessions on Zoom, and then one-on-one sessions with me. Plus, patrons get access to the private hidden Facebook group, the Go Keto with Casey Patreon group. And you must be an active patron to be allowed there. If you need to do something like that, do it. If you need to do jumping jacks, how you keep going is you keep going. And if you strumble, which is a mashup of the words struggle and stumble, because very often my video snippets are pre-coffee and words come out mashed up. Don't say, well, I've blown it today, so I might as well just, in for a penny, in for a pound. Again, no pun intended. Because that pound is, of course, not referencing weight, but money. And don't say, well, I blew it now. It's Saturday, so I guess I'll start over Monday. Oh, well, it's already December. I'll start over in January. Don't do that. That's the opposite of keeping on going. Poorly structured sentence right there. We need to give ourselves some grace, and we need to give ourselves some tough love. We can't just keep saying, oh, well, I made a mistake. I'll get up again. And then you do that every 5 days. If that works for you, great. It would drive me bonkers. How do you keep going? By keep going. How do I stop caving? Stop caving. If someone asked you, how do I stop hitting my head against a wall? What would be the obvious answer? Stop hitting your head against the wall. But we overthink. How do I stop doing something? Or how do I keep doing something? The answer lies within the question. Doesn't mean it's easy. This protocol is simple. Doesn't mean following it is easy. If we were on a desert island and all we had was access to nice fatty sources of protein and clean water, it wouldn't be a problem. Then, if our mother-in-law decided to be on the desert island with us and brought a hamper full of cake, then it all starts over again. We have outside forces. We have inside monologues. We have to weed out the noise because that just adds to the struggle. Any voice or message that is not helping us needs to get out. Like the old saying, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. If those voices, if people, if comments, if you find yourself staring at videos about food and that's not helping because then all you're doing is thinking about food, step away. Figure out what helps and what doesn't help. And that which is not part of the solution is part of the problem, and let's get rid of it. Struggling is not failure, but succeeding is strength. Let's look at that in a positive way. Those are my thoughts anyway. I am going to turn my attention, I hope, to the comments. And I appreciate everyone showing up. Hello, Linda Nelson. She's a member of the Go Keto with Casey Club on YouTube. She's been around long enough that she has an avocado emoji. Amen to thinking about food for too long, she writes. Hope I have beat that. I just try to think about one meal a day for me and hubby. Hey, Judy. Bird Lover writes, what is ginger juice? That's a new one on me. I don't know what ginger juice is. Lady Low Carb writes, okay, you guys are talking to each other, which is great. Hey, Jennifer. Hi, Nancy. Great day from California. Judy Tucker from Iowa. And Michelle, man, I was thinking about you, Michelle. And I'm going to exercise for 1 hour. Just establish a new habit, like half-hour walk and a few reps of weights/video. It is good to get outside even in winter. Habits. Okay, and Twyla writes, I stopped watching cooking shows and looking up recipes. This really helped. I often say, if you're a recovering alcoholic, don't watch videos about mixing cocktails. Don't get the bartender's guide if you're a recovering alcoholic and you don't want to drink alcohol. It's just tough. There's more to life than food. Habits. We can incorporate habits. We can disincorporate habits. I won't share it again. My patrons, poor things, have heard me talk about my habit tracker spreadsheet too much. But, we habitually eat popcorn every night when we're watching television, and my husband and I did that for a long time. We would have a bag each of popcorn, sometimes 2 each. And we stopped. We had to stop. It was a habit, and then we broke the habit. And so now we don't think about it. But those habits that we have, those food habits, we didn't come out of the womb eating popcorn at night. We grew that habit. We can unhabituate ourselves. They say if you do something 21 days in a row, on day 22, it is difficult to not do it. It's uncomfortable to not do it. I don't know if this is true or not, but I wonder if avoiding something for 21 days in a row makes it difficult to do it on the 22nd day. So if you go without popcorn for 21 days, on the 22nd day, would you feel less comfortable having popcorn? Again, none of this is ironclad. The wolf is always at the door. One of our sweet dear patrons had been doing great for 2 years. Not a carb passed her lips. She withstood the death of her father and familial situations. And then, boom, something happened. And she started eating food that didn't serve her. She reached out and got some good support and good advice and some bolstering. And I would I'm going to guess that she is doing much better today than she was yesterday, as far as food goes. If something happens, recognize it, acknowledge it, and move on. Don't dwell. Can't do anything about what happened 15 minutes ago. Forget about what happened last weekend. Can't do a thing about it. We need to move forward. We need to prepare ourselves because there will always be struggles. Even after there's a vaccine and life gets back to something, it'll never be normal. And actually not, normal was not that great for everybody, So anyway, that's a whole other conversation. But whatever passes for normal, then there'll be something else. There always is, either on a grand scale or on a personal scale. Karen Elizabeth, thank you for the super chat. That is so sweet. By the way, super chat, you really should, if you want to make sure your comment gets noticed and pinned at the top. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. Hey, Heather, I lost my 92-year-old father in April. Had to put my 13-year-old Aussie down last month. My entire family lived through getting COVID last month. Food wouldn't help me get through this past year. Right? Right? Food wouldn't have brought your dad back. You eating food would not have brought your dog back. And Lord help us, never been a better time to get your blood sugar under control and your blood pressure under control and get your inflammation under control. And the great way to do that is by bringing down your carbs. Never been a better time to get your metabolic issues wrangled. Okay, Judy Tucker writes, I just got a rebounder. Love it. When I get bored at night, I just start bouncing. Hashtag my friend Jen loves her rebounder. She has heartily suggested that I get one. I just haven't done it yet. Looks like fun. For those of you who don't know, it's a little trampoline. I feel like a kid, she writes. So, again, if you feel like you're the only one that is struggling or is challenged or is tempted, no. The wolf is always at the door. We must be vigilant. People who are in recovery, my understanding, must make the decision every day. Again, one of the great things about the 12-step programs you don't say, I'll never have another drink the rest of my life. That sounds too, you say, I might have a drink tomorrow, but I'm not going to have a drink today. Or I might have a drink this afternoon, but I'm not having one now. We can do the same thing with food that does not serve us. Okay, I may have candy corn next week, but I'm not having any candy corn today. If you think about never doing something for the rest of your life again, something that you like, it's overwhelming. Just like if I told you how many diapers you needed to change when you have children, nobody would have children. But you take it one diaper at a time, right? Am I right? One diaper at a time. This is a challenging time on almost every level. I don't know a lot about some things, but I do know this. Food will not fix any of these issues. If hunger is not the problem, food is not the solution. Period. Food is not a coping mechanism. It is a way to not cope. Food is not our friend. It is food. Food is not love. Love is love. This food is love thing. What if I'm a terrible cook? Does that mean I don't love the people around me because I don't cook for them? I don't know if you can hear the dogs howling next door. Oh, poor thing. No, two of them are howling. Oh dear. One is a husky, so it really is howling. Must be a siren somewhere. Anywho, food is not entertainment. Food is fuel. Oh yeah, there are sirens. Oh, it sounds like it's in my neighborhood. Food doesn't fix anything other than hunger. And guess what? Carbs don't really fix hunger. They just make you hungry again in an hour and a half. That's why the food manufacturers love them. They're inexpensive to create, process, transport, and sell. And they're cheap because they don't have any value. You get yourself some eggs. By the way, see our eggs? And that's with the, I've been gifting some eggs to friends. We've got like 3 weeks left in 2020. By the way, I have a t-shirt, Keto in 2021. Bring it with an avocado. Go keto with Casey. And it'll be so great to turn the page on this year, just emotionally. It won't change anything metaphysically, but it'll just feel great. But we can get through this. Many of us have already gotten through it. I mean, many of us have been dealing with stress. Heather Silva went through a lot. But if things have been tough and you haven't covered yourself in, whatchamacallit, glory, just, okay, done. Okay, now how do you fix that? The next time you put food in your mouth, lay off the carbs. That's it. That's the solution. I fell off the wagon. What do I do? Next time you put food in your mouth, lay off the carbs. Again, not magic, not mystical. It's physiological. I want to thank you guys for allowing me to be part of your Saturday. Keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day. Total not net. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. Get your calendars while you can. And thank you to all my patrons who make all of this possible. Thank you very much. Stay strong. If I can do this, you can do this. I promise.